In some cases,
Always.
for better. মিউট হয়ে আছে আপনি মিউট হয়ে আছে
ওই এটা নিয়ে আসে
I think it is centrally mute, sir, principal sir.
ওকে ওকে এখানে বহু স্টুডেন্ট আছে গতিকে আমি অলপ সেন্ট্রালি মিউট কৰিব লগা হৈছে প্লিজ ডোন্ট মাইন্ড আমি পিছত কৰি দিম
So it is 6:30. Principal sir and Bivas sir, should we start?
yes yes
So with the permission from
সুবিধা বাপ্পা আছে না
yes, Bappa sir.
okay he will admit okay.
Yeah.
মোবাইলটা বন্ধ
So, so with the permission from Honorable Principal sir and Honorable Bivas sir, let us start this evening. So good afternoon, everyone. So on behalf of BN College family, I am Shushmita. Welcome you all in this online program organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell and Vivekananda Study Center of our college in collaboration with Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, Assam Prant. The topic of today's lecture is little bit different. It is the Bharatiya education system is rooted in Bharatiya Sanskriti. And this is the second lecture in the lecture series of man making and nation building. Now in the beginning, I would like to invite Dr. Dhruva Chakravarti, Honorable Principal of our college, to address this August gathering and also inaugurate this session. So over to you, sir.
So thank you Shushmita and welcome all the participants in this program. There are participants from different parts of this country, from different parts of Assam, from different organizations, principals from different colleges, organizers of various organizations, office bearers of various organizations, and students, not only from our college, but also from. So, I would like to welcome all of you in this webinar. This webinar is a part of a lecture series on man making nation building that we are going to organize every month. And as mentioned, the topic of this lecture is Bharatiya education system rooted in Bharatiya Sanskriti. So I am extremely thankful that our one of the most honored educationist and most beloved from our side, educationist Dr. Vivadas Purkasta has agreed to act as resource person in this particular webinar. Actually, Vivadas sir is a key person in for us. He's the inspiration for us in organizing this lecture series, and he's the man behind, the brain behind all this. So today he has come forward to enlighten us all about the Bharatiya education system and how this education system is rooted with the Bharatiya Sanskriti. So I am extremely delighted that participants from various organizations, various parts of this country has participating in this webinar. I am extremely thankful to Vivekananda Kendra for signing a memorandum of understanding with our college and working together, agreeing to working together for development of our students as well as development of the neighboring community. So this webinar is also part of that MOU signed between BN College and Vivekananda Kendra. So I hope and rather I trust that this webinar will be extremely helpful for all the participants, for all of us. So with that note, welcoming all of you again, I declare this webinar is open, and I particularly welcome our Diva sir to the lecture. Now over to you, Sushmita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So, respected participants, today I am really happy to have Dr. Vibhas sir with us as a resource person, as Principal sir has mentioned. Now, although sir needs no introduction, but it is my privilege to introduce him with you all. Dr. Vibhas Das Purakasta is retired as Principal Pandu College, Guwahati. He is the former governor of Rotary. Sir has been awarded with the most prestigious Rotary Award, the Vocational Service Leadership Awards, for his contribution in education and literacy in the year 2016. He is also a court member of Bodoland University. Sir is one of the Sangrakshak of Bharatiya Shikhan Mandal. So it is the time to listen our honorable resource person, for which all of us are eagerly waiting. So may I now request Honorable Sir to kindly start his lecture. And it is our humble request to all the participants to please mute your microphone and let us enjoy this journey with Sir. There will be an interaction session just after his speech. So over to you, Sir.
Honorable Principal Dr. Dhruva Chakravarti, dear Dr. Sushmita Sengupta, Coordinator of IQAC VN College, respected faculty members, learned guests coming from all over the country, Vivekananda Kendra, persons from Vivekananda Kendra, and my dear students. Namaskar to all. Very good evening. I think in this pandemic situation, we are just talking before start that nobody can restrain us from doing good to the others. And BN College is an exception in that sense. I feel honored and privileged to speak on a topic organized by IQAC and Vivekananda Kendra Studies Center of the college in collaboration with Vivekananda Kendra. I hail the college. I hail the college authority for arranging for a monthly guest speaker, an out-of-box attempt benefiting the students and faculty members. I think this type of program is at least not known to me in this part of the country. So it is an exceptional program being arranged by BN College. So I hail you for this particular aspect. The college was founded in the same year I was born. I was a little elder in that sense. And you have just celebrated the Diamond Jubilee 4 days ago. I believe you have celebrated the occasion. I'm sorry I could not be present there, but I offer my congratulations. It's not a matter of joke, 75 years, something very different. So it's a large, great achievement, I should say, existing for 75 years with great traditions and all these things. So like Minister Ranjit Das, I like to say that this college be upgraded to university in near future. That is my wish for you.
Thank you so much.
So this I want to see in my life. As long as I'm living, I want to see this picture that BN College, because you see, me and BN College are contemporary, you know, we are moving side by side from 1946 onward. So there is a connection between you and BN College and me. So I feel somehow linked with this college for many aspects. Previously I used to come physically, but pandemic has never stopped us, and now virtually also I am coming. I have to thank Sushmita because she was after me to deliver the second lecture. I do not know how far I shall be successful, but the topic of today's deliberation, as was pronounced earlier, is Bharatiya education system is rooted in Bharatiya Samskriti. You may be wondering because I have used 2 or 3, 2 words, education system, Bharatiya, Sanskriti. Now, Bharat and Bharatiya are accepted constitutionally, so I need not explain, but rooted, hipar logot lagi thoka, joro se jure hue hai, enaka kotha bujhay, shikorer sandhane. That is an essential part. I remember a quotation by Sir Winston Churchill, who once said, "The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see. The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see." So looking back is essential to find the root of our rich heritage of ancient Bharatiya knowledge system. I tell you in this respect that when National Education Commission was formed, NEP 2020, as it came up, they totally gone through this whole part. I should tell about one person at the end of my discussion. I had a fascination for him. 9-membered this Kasturirangan Education Commission. One particular member, I have a fascination for him. He's a professor of Princeton College, mathematics. He's a renowned mathematician of present age. So about him, I shall tell you a little bit later on. Now, Bharatiya education system produced scholars like Charaka and Shusruta, Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, Chanakya, Patanjali, and Panini, among many others, numerous others too. Listing on mentioning only a few out of them. They made seminal contribution to world of knowledge in diverse fields such as mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, medical science and surgery, civil engineering, architecture, shipbuilding, navigation, yoga, fine arts, chess, and many more to mention. The Bharatiya Dharma and philosophy has had a strong influence on the whole world. Even at the advent of British Raj, the survey report by William Adams, if you remember, he was asked to carry out a survey in 1835, Bengal Presidency and Bihar. Now he came out, there were 3 reports in fact, came out with astonishing result. He has a very good relationship with Raja Raman also. Now, astonishing result means he mentioned that all the villages at least have a one primary school and nearby higher schools in all the country. Lakhs of schools existed. That means at that time, and not only in this presidency, in Punjab, in Bombay, and in Madras presidency, similar survey was carried out, and everywhere same results came. Say it was 1835. So till then, almost everyone in India were literate. We did not listen any unemployment problem at that time. All the people were happy and healthy. Macaulay's minutes destroyed our formal education system by introducing clerk-making education system. They not only looted our wealth, but when they departed in 1947, we were made illiterate. Only 16% literacy rate at that time. It will be astonishing to know by their system. And of course, unemployment was there. Okay, how we excelled by the system of education is the question, and today's discussion will center around or revolve around in this perspective. Now, one very interesting point, we are all educated in English, you can speak English well, at least particularly the Northeastern region people, they can speak English well, other than other parts. So, now, even if find the poorest of the poor prefer to send their words in English medium school. British left, but legacy remained. But often some of the words translated, Bharatiya words translated in English creates confusion. Culture is one such word. Often we translate Sanskriti by culture. But this does not reflect what Sanskriti actually means. That is why in the title, the term Samskriti or Sanskriti is kept. Culture is defined as the characteristics of a particular group of people, encompassing language, religion, cuisine, social habits, music, arts, etc. So it is a group identity fostered by social patterns, unique of the groups. That is how Western anthropologists believe. They also believe that culture is fluid. That is, it is not fixed, it is flowing, it is changing. That is the belief. And probably for that reason, UNESCO, United Nations Education, Science and Cultural Organization, was formed in 1972, if you remember, to protect the remnant of the decaying or decayed culture. We used to call this preservation of World Heritage Center. That is the UNESCO is doing. So that was their belief of the West. Samskriti or Sanskriti, on the other hand, arose from individual and collective urge and will of the people to live a meaningful, happy life. It is the collective will, social will, to live a meaningful, happy life. It is a combination of purity of knowledge and generosity of feeling. It seeks to unite mind's knowledge with the heart's feeling and thereby spread sweetness in the world. Sanskriti means the living glory of action, knowledge, and devotion. The glory of employing continuously the body, the mind, and the heart in true service. Bharatiya Sanskriti means experimentation with truth. It means refusal to remain static and to move forward in a constant search of knowledge. This a culture which grows by accepting whatever is true, good, and beautiful. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Bharatiya Sanskriti means going from finite to infinite, from darkness to light, from conflict to growth, from distortion to true judgment, from confusion to order, from shouting to music. Now that is how Bharatiya Sanskriti is being explained, not by me. I have taken up this explanation from Madhav Rao, Sadashiv Rao, Gulwalkarji. That is his perception. He has explained the Sanskriti in this particular way. So Bharatiya Sanskriti means union of all religions, of all races, of all sciences, of all ages. So it believes in union, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the central perception of Bharatiya Sanskriti. Now, Sanskriti actually originated from the word sanskars. We call sanskar in this part, which are the subtle mental impression left by all thoughts, intentions, and actions that an individual ever experienced. I'm repeating again, it is the subtle mental impressions left by all thoughts, intentions, and actions that an individual ever experienced. I shall illustrate this particular point. It is a psychological and emotional imprint which creates the behavioral pattern. That imprint creates our behavioral pattern. So sanskar is thus root of all emotions, traits of character, and simple behavior. So that is how sanskar occurs. Now sanskar may occur in two ways. One by action and reaction, and secondly by dharmic deportment, dharmic acharan. Now, action and reaction, how it arises, I'll give you a simple example. You will understand how sanskar happens. One example, very simple example. Did you notice that majority of our children, why children, even adults, some of the adults are afraid at the sight of police. Whenever police comes, we generally go away afraid. Why, you know? Because our mothers, when we were babies, used to frighten us, used to scare us by telling, "Kene, khailo, nole police ok matim." Eat, or if the baby create some mischief, mother used to say, "Tuk mo ronga police dekhwam." Even sometimes she shows the policeman with red topi and a stick on his hand. So that one remains for a pretty long period. Even some of the adults, you'll find what is our psychology. There is that psychology may be bad or good, but it is a permanent mental impression remains with us. So that arises due to action and reaction. So many such examples may be cited, but this is one such case. Now, about dharmic acharan, there is dharmic deportment, as I have said. Let me give one example again. Does our parent ever say, tell a lie, appear the exam and copy in the exam? কেতিয়াবা আমাৰ দেউতাই মাকে কৈছিল নেকি মিছা কবি বা পৰীক্ষাত গৈ পেলাই নকলৰ শীট লৈ যাবি নকল কৰি পৰীক্ষা দে কেতিয়াও কোৱা নাই it is because to speak the truth is accepted by the society as a dharmic acharan. It is flowing through blood from thousands of years. Even now we are following it. Now I remember one aspect of Mahabharata. Yudhishthir in Mahabharata, if you remember, Satyavadi Yudhishthir, as he is called, never told a lie in his lifetime. Everybody knew it, and during that time also everybody knew. Now, when the Kurukshetra war started, he was asked, because he always speaks the truth, so he was asked to tell that Ashwathama died. Ashwathama is the son of Drona. Drona that day was advancing forward, so somehow he is to be restrained. So that thought, the strategy was like this: if you say Ashwathama is son of this man, so Yudhishthir agreed to say, but all of us know that he said Ashwathama hata iti gojo. Now iti gojo quite low, inaudible to Drona. And Drona actually heard Ashwathama hata. He thought his son was killed. Sorry, Drona thought his son was killed. Now, that is what is being said. Now, this is for the one time Yudhishthira manipulated saying the truth. And you know, the result is that, if you know, in the last stage of the Mahabharata, when all the Panchapandavas were going towards the heaven, all the brothers fell one by one. But Yudhishthir ultimately reached heaven, not because he spoke truth for lifetime. He manipulated truth once, so it was not judged. He was admitted to Swarga because he accompanied the dog with him, who was all along moving with him. So such was our conception about dharmic acharan. So dharma comes from the root word dhri, that means to uphold or sustain. Dharma is not religion, but it disciplines men to value-based life. Man becomes aware of his duties towards oneself and to the society at large. It guides the individual's material life with spiritual perspective. Do's and don'ts about knowledge acquisition and leading to a purposeful life are embedded in dharma. Education or shiksha, as you call it, is thus nothing but a sanskar activity, be it for material knowledge or for spiritual knowledge. Maybe it is applicable for family or for society or for institution. Now, ancient Bharatiya education had been evolved on the foundation of Bharatiya epistemological and philosophical traditions. Epistemological means Gyanabad, philosophical, darshanik. জ্ঞানবাদ আর দার্শনিক তত্ত্বের উপর ভিত্তি করে ভারতীয় শিক্ষা ব্যবস্থা তৈরি হয়েছে। The idea of ephemerality of life. Ephemerality means ক্ষণস্থায়ী, জীবন ক্ষণস্থায়ী. The concept of ultimate death and futility of mundane pleasure had provided them with a spatial angle of vision. Amar rishi সন্ন্যাসী সকলে তেনে প্রকারে ভাবিছিলেন যে মানব জীবন ক্ষণস্থায়ী, ইমান বেশি হুক আহ্লাদ করে তার লাভ নাই. We should live a purposeful life. The entire education tradition originated on this principle. The sages devoted themselves to this study of supersensible world and spiritual power and molded their lives accordingly. This was a thousand of years tradition, and this tradition till today continued. You find sadhus and sannyasis either residing in Himalayas or they are serving the humanity in varieties of form. And when a Kumbh Mela occurs, you find thousands and thousands of sadhus and sannyasis come in Kumbh Mela. In Ambabuchi also we visualize where from they come out. So this tradition still persists in our society. This could not be broken out till today. Now in the Sanskara process, ancient Bharat did not ignore the human desire for material progress. They have linked Purushastra, as they are called. There are 4 Purushastra. We call them as Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma explain, Artha explain, everything is accepted. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, everything is accepted. But the whole system of education was, is a balanced one. That means Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, those who want, they can go. But all these are in a balanced position, nothing extraordinary. The whole system of education was divided into 2 parts. One is Paravidya, as it is called, and other is Aparavidya. Paravidya means the spiritual knowledge. Aparavidya means the material knowledge. And you find the definition of this karma, vidya, all these things in Vishnu Purana. It is being said, Tat karma janvandhayo, shavidyaya vimukte, ayashaya aparang karma, vidyayana shilpanivanam. Karma is that which does not lead to bondage. Vidya is that which liberates. All other works leads to hardship. The other kinds of knowledge merely worldly skills. Everything is defined, you see. Students engaged in the pursuit of material knowledge has been treated as the fulcrum of the social structure. for in their development lies the well-being of the society. You see the balancing factor. Moksha or mukti is desired, but not for all. Living a purposeful life for the society, upliftment of the society, this is also taken care of by means of dharma, artha, kama. You will find in the Taittiriya Upanishad, Shiksha Mallari, that has been beautifully explained there. I'm not mentioning, but it is available there. In Gurukula system, if you remember, the students were given training in occupation other than Veda Abhas and material knowledge. Agricultural farming, dairy farming were being practiced. What in modern concept called learning by doing, apprenticeship, everything was there. Dhanurvidya and war strategies were also taught even in Buddha period. This war strategy, Dhanurvidya, was there. Song, dance, etc., performing arts and visual arts were also practiced. Institutions of higher learning, I have to mention this one. Two, that is Takshila, Nalanda, etc., attracted foreign tourists, as you know. Even some came to Nalanda. Now, Panini, Jivaka, Chanakya studied at Takshila. Students of Nalanda studied Vedas and were also trained in fine arts, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, and art of war. That is, these institutions, there were 27 institutions in all, were all multidiscipline institutions. Anyone can choose any subject of his choice. Nowadays, we call it CBCS system. So that system prevailed there. And heard about Chaushatti Kala, 64 Kalas. Hard to remember all the fine art forms. These include dance, music, theater, script writing, many more forms. This Chaushatti Vidya were there. It is believed that Sri Krishna learned all these 64 art forms. He is the person who knew all these 64 art forms. Now, Bharatiyas believe that every aspect of life is sacred. That is why, from conception to cremation, celebrated as a reminder that life is a gift from God. That is how Shears formulated Shorasha Sanskara. And these are accepted socially. Socially, these are accepted and upheld and still prevailed in our society. Fortunately, Macaulay could not enter and destroy this social aspect being carried thousands of years. I just give you a few examples. Think about the rituals we perform at the childbirth. During Vidyarambha, in Bengali we call Hate Khori. Vibaha, during marriage, and Antyeshti Kriya. Everywhere from east to west, north to south, same type of rituals were performed there. During marriage, you have to say, Jadidang Hridayang Tavo, Tadidang Hridayang Mama. That has to be said. And in all this, Yajna is performed, wherein you are to give the name of your forefathers, at least 3. Pitamaha, Pita, Pitamaha, Prapritamaha, Vriddha Pitamaha, Matamaha, Vidyamata, their name should be pronounced. So there is prevailed throughout India, whether it is in Assam or in Rajasthan or Jammu or in Kanyakumarika, everywhere to the length and breadth of the country, same rituals are performed. This Shodasha Sanskar Kriya, I'm not telling about all these aspects, are being performed everywhere, irrespective of our language, irrespective of our food habit, irrespective of our dress, whatever dress, but that is where we say unity in diversity, because we believe this. Shatya ek vipra bahuda vadanti. Ekam shatya vipra bahuda vadanti. So that is our belief that came through sanskaras from ancient time to till today. And I'm saying the great part is played by our female folk. It is there who are carrying out these traditions year after year, century after century, and thousands of years. This tradition is still carried on in our society. And that is how, while the Roman civilization, the Greek civilization went down, we still survive because of this reason. Because of this reason, we are still, our civilization still is persisting only for this particular reason. Now, Bertrand Russell, famous philosopher, once said one very interesting quote: I was born ignorant, but education made me stupid. He was frustrated about the Western type of material education, and he uttered this because the lifestyle, life skill were not taught in West. Swami Vivekananda is a little older than Bertrand Russell. He said this in a different tone, that education is manifestation of perfection already in man. Much said quote. Now you see, education is manifestation of perfection. That means at born we are ignorant, but we born with certain traits, maybe bad or good. But the purpose of education is to bring out all the good traits to make him a perfect person. That is what he meant to say. We are born ignorant, but purpose of education to bring out all the good traits of the human being, to live a meaningful life in the world. Swamiji clearly defined. I said Swamiji is the first person to give the first, educational policy of India. So, what should be the type of education? He said, in the British rule, he said, education is not the amount of information that is put into your brain and runs riot there, undigested all your life. We must have life building, man making, character making, assimilation of ideas. If you have assimilated 5 ideas and made them your life and character, you have more education than any man who has got by heart a whole library. That is a quotation from Swamiji. So he wanted man making and nation building education. So ideas, you see, I now tell you, we are proud of Neeraj Chopra. He brought gold for us. Now, Neeraj Chopra was 100% dedicated for javelin throw. This was his life and death. He made this as his life. And that is how he attained the gold medal in javelin throw. He made one idea only, yes, in javelin throw, I must excel myself. So that is how it is the mind, it is the will force that brought the goal. So unfortunately, even after independence, though several education commissions were constituted, recommendations suggested, but there were laxity in implementation. Now, Ramakrishna Mission, Vidya Bharati, Vivekananda Kendra, Dayananda, and some other such organization came forward and established private schools and even colleges to move forward man-making and nation-building education. The impact of this education, we are now gradually feeling, whether you feel or not, there is a gradual change in our national picture in the field of development, and all these things are gradually, we are gaining importance, we are showing up now, we are coming up this particular way. Now, National Education Policy 2020. I'm not going to describe in detail because I have to wind up now slowly, but a little bit I must say, because past we have visualized. What is happening till today is known to us. I need not discuss about what about the present system of education. But National Education Policy 2020 is a vision document made by the people of India. For 5.5 long years, people worked on it, and we call this as a people document. Now, there are several points on it. I'm not going to discuss all the particular points, but one important, some certain important points only I shall mention, that now we believe Sanskara should start from the age 3 of any children. Previously, it was from the age 6. So early childhood care education is important because more than 80% development of brain occurs at this particular stage. From childbirth to the age 8, this occurs. So caring at this age, sanskaras at this age is very, very important. And that is why this particular age group students are to be taken care of. This is one very important decision taken by Education Commission. Flexibility is one, another aspect is the part of the education, as you will find. It is not rigid, compartmentalization is not there. Now, when a boy or a girl go for the secondary education, 9, 10, 11, 12, this is integrated course. And you will find science, arts, commerce, amalgamated. Everybody has to read all the subjects. 40 papers in 8 semesters they have to clear. No. And they can choose their choice of subjects from among several options. Now, not only flexibility in choice of subjects, flexibility was there in multiple entry and multiple exit in higher education system. So that is what is there. Now, I remember one interesting story, multiple exit and multiple entry. You might have read about Bobdev. Bobdev, he went to Gurukul system for learning, but he was not that type of boy to learn easily. He forgets everything. পাহৰি যায়, একো মনত নাথাকে। টায়াৰ্ড হৈ তেওঁ এদিন গুৰুৱে ক'লে তই ঘৰত যা, go to your house back and do something else for your livelihood. So he went out, the house was far away. So he sat near a tree where a well is there. Quiet us. And we pani hokole lui jai. Draw water from there. And if you remember, he found the earthen pitcher was kept in a particular position. And it is keeping straight. And all of them, all the ladies are coming and keeping their earthen pots over there. And then putting the water and then going away. And then he examined, he found that there is a, depression in this portion developed. Even that earthen pots created depression on the stone by years and years of practicing keeping it there. So immediately he thought, even an earthen pot can create an impression on stone. Why I cannot? So he again went back to Guru and started learning. Now this time Guru found that he is more convinced. So multiple, he exited and again entered, multiple exit and entry. And that is how, if you remember, he wrote a Vyakaran, grammar, Mugdhabodh Vyakaran. Those who have olden days, Mugdhabodh Vyakaran is famous. That is being, developed by Bob Depp. So this multiple exit and entry system is introduced. Now, concept of understanding rather than rote learning was taken care of. Learning for exam will not be there. Critical thinking, creativity are a part of this education system. Now, many more interesting points I'm simply mentioning. A 360-degree report card, not mark sheet. Report card will be there for school students, encompassing not only academic achievement, but his behavior with teacher, behavior with the parents, behavior with students, and his affinity for different activities. All these will be recorded. So now, instead of mark sheet, there will be a report card. Learning in mother tongue or village, medium of instruction is preferably in mother tongue because learning becomes easier, and multilingualism is being preferred. A lot of thing is there. Now, this will definitely bring out integrity among all India level and different types of workmen. One boy or one girl in Assam school may learn Telugu or Tamil by herself and demonstrate her skill in a district level event and state level event and then national level event, and they will be awarded. In the class 8, they have to do this thing. So this type of feature is incorporated. One more important thing I mentioned earlier, that in our earlier time, vocational education was there. Whether you are a son of a king, you are to go for farming, for agriculture. So from class 6 onward, vocational education will be compulsorily will be a compulsory subject for all. Life skills, values, and ethics are now a part of education system. It will be multidisciplinary, except law university and medical university. Others should have to be multidisciplinary because we must give options to students according to their choice. I'll tell you one interesting point here. The 9-member Education Commission, one person, he is not Indian, is an American Canadian origin. Professor Manjul Bhargava was there. He is a professor of Princeton University. You heard about Ivy League universities in USA. The best universities, 8 universities, are regarded as best universities of the world. Among these 8 universities in world ranking, these 8 universities always come, the first 8 position are this Harvard University, Colombo University, UPenn University, Yale University. These are included in this group. Now, Manjul Bhargava studied in this university, but he is linked to Rajasthan. His mother is also a professor of mathematics, and I will be requesting you to go through about the Manjul Bhargava, see how this man, he was awarded with various awards, and he was chosen for this because he wanted to link song with mathematics. You're astonished to know the beats and sounds and all these things. And he is an exponent of tabla. He's learned tabla from Zakir Hussain. You know. So this particular man is a remarkable example. His grandfather is an exponent in Sanskrit, and he actually studied Sanskrit poems, poetry, and all these rhythms, calculated beats and all these things from them, and he developed certain theories for which he got recognition in the world. I told you that I'll tell you about Manjul Bhargava, an exceptionally brilliant mathematician of today's world, was there in our education system. And what he learned at one time, he was confused whether he should go for music or for mathematics. And then he has chosen mathematics. He suggested why that music will be go side by side. And there are interesting stories about this particular man. And he was one such person who thoroughly studied our scriptures and was included rightly in the Education Commission. This person was responsible for framing this education system. So we hope that the last 7 decades, what we could not incorporate in our education system, incorporation is being done. And because I am in the high body commission set by Assam, many people used to say when this education, NEP 2020 will be implemented in Assam. So in the phased manner, it will be definitely implemented. But I used to say, yes, you can immediately start. If he is a teacher, I can say, yes, you read and implement it immediately. It is teacher who will implement. Government cannot implement. Government will simply pronounce. It will be implemented. It is teacher who will carry it over. The success, if it is unsuccessful, it will be teacher who will be responsible. If it is successful, it will be due to teachers only. It will be successful. When a war starts, the soldiers prepare themselves much ahead of time. And that is why when it is implemented, it is immaterial. But teachers are to make themselves aware of the fact that we are going to implement this education system, which is our own education system, by which we will excel earlier. We want to become Vishwaguru by our act, and this is on the hands of our beloved teachers. I know many people are working, but more and more participation is needed. I hope that I could tell you something about this. I do not like to prolong my deliberation. But see, I had a different subjects I had to teach, but this is completely new to me. I'm not very expert. There are learned persons present here. So I shall be definitely requesting all of them to add to this deliberation and enrich me as well. Thank you very much for listening.
So thank you, sir. It is always a very pleasant moment for me, and I hope all that to listen from you. Now, session is now open for interaction. I request our technical team, Bappa, if to please unmute everybody. If anybody wants to ask, then so that they can ask the question directly to our honorable resource person. Or you can also write in the chat box. I will take your query.
Somebody can add also.
Yes, sure, sir. It's an interaction.
I think from your honorable guests, there are learned persons. They can add if I have omitted something.
Yes, so I have seen that Dr. Shurojit Ray has unmuted. So, sir, you can please.
No. I have no query actually. No query. Mistakenly.
Okay, right, sir.
Okay.
Right,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
am Karibasaya from Karnataka. Sir,
thank you, sir. Thank you for joining, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir told that NEP is successful only by teachers. It's a wonderful talk because whatever the successful is, the government is not responsible. We teachers will be responsible and stakeholders. Thank you for such a wonderful resource person will be narrating. Thank you, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
hello?
Anybody? Yes.
Susmita?
Yes, Vaidya.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, it is very pleasant to hear from you. Always, as Sushmita said, you are very close to our college.
Yes.
I am Navanita Devi from the Department of Philosophy. I don't have any question, but I have certain observation, as you have mentioned, that Samskriti and society both are interconnected, and in each and every society there is and it is not culture, as you have mentioned. Samskriti is something deep rooted. That is why, as you have said, our culture or our society or our civilization or Samskriti still exists, not unlike the Western civilization or culture. And both are dynamic, and especially in the Upanishadic period, in our Indian culture or Indian philosophical system, whatever we can say, they prefer to Atmagyan, self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is necessary. Atmagyan, then you can have Brahmagyan. And yet in that period, they prefer to Atmagyan and Brahmagyan, not this institutional knowledge or educational system. And after that, somebody would like to spread his knowledge to the other members of the society, as you have mentioned also about Indian philosophical systems. So that is one of my observation from your discussion. And then education is not as I have mentioned just now, it is not about only institutional education. It is a lifelong process. So we have to learn. Education is, we can say, it is a way of life. I think it is a way of life. So we have to live with, as religion is a way of life, philosophy is a way of life in India. So is the education. So we can learn from each and every objects of the nature. because it is the nature is the creation of God. So there is a purpose behind the creation of everything, every object. So we can learn everything. And you also refer to life skill, which is necessary now, that has been introduced in our new education policy 2020. So I have made just some observations. So thank you, sir.
Excellent, madam, excellent. Thank you very much.
No, sir.
Sir, one query is there that education is the manifestation of divine perfection already existing in man, what Shamiji has told. Now, Altaf wants to know that what does it imply, sir?
Your madam has already mentioned Atmogyan, Brahmagyan, and also that is what is the ultimate. You should know yourself and material knowledge. And I say when we are born, we are actually born ignorant. But we have, human being have all the potential traits, good and bad, all traits are there. But it is education through which the good traits are being developed gradually. But that is not enough. Shabhava, murdni vartate. So other than this, what is, because we perceive everything beyond us, but not about ourselves. Madam has already said, Atmagyan. Go inside, try to know about yourself, who I am. So Tattamoshi. This type of knowledge is essential for us. That is what is Vivekananda actually meant for. Now, I tell you in this reference, one very interesting point. When Vivekananda was traveling the West, 2 times he has gone to the West. There he spread the message of this Gita and all this, Bhagavad. But when he came back to the country, he was telling about serving the poor. Serving the poor is the best because it is already there in our mind. Football khelo, play football, no need of studying, service. And that is why 2 institutions were built by Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Matha and Ramakrishna Mission. Ramakrishna Math is for Atmagyan and the Paramatma knowledge about Brahmana. And the mission is for service. Service, through service, you can also reach the ultimate. There are several stories on this perspective. I can narrate by Karma Yoga also, you can attain this perspective. There are stories, I can tell you, these are known stories mentioned by Swamiji, mentioned by Ramakrishna Paramahansa also in various cases. This is how by this thing, service, you can attain the ultimate. Should I go through any story or any other question? Or
Sir, one more question is there, but I don't think that this is a suitable platform. But still, I'm reading this, sir, that from which academic session government is going to implement NEP, whether English medium schools can continue to impart instruction in English. Though this is not the proper platform, sir.
No, but I
But yes,
can
sir.
answer. Yes, sir. From first portion, just see.
Sir, from which academic session government is going to implement NEP?
No, you see, when you say government, there are 2 types of government. One is central government, another is state government. Now, education is a concurrent subject, belong to the states. I tell you one thing, sports is also a concurrent subject. So it will depend not only upon the center, but will also depend upon the many works already started. Means many NCERT has already done lot of things. The higher education UGC has done lot of things. It is the goodwill of the states to implement from which session and which year. That is the thing. I tell you, for Assam, at least I can tell you that it will be implemented soon, and it will be implemented stage-wise from lower level, from primary level, elementary level, it will start and move forward. Similarly, the higher education will also start in the similar manner, because all these were made ready. Now, about English education system, all rules and laws and everything will remain same for English medium school. They are also to implement, because the CBSE or Assam Board of Secondary Education or Council, they will be amalgamated ultimately, will follow one syllabus. So they are to follow certain rules, so that will be there. But what is actual query, I'm not sure, just whether English medium school will persist or not. It will be there, because one very interesting aspect I tell you, that if you go through the NEP 2020, you will find about the medium and language to be language of instruction written. There, one word particularly written, wherever possible. The medium of instruction be in mother tongue or regional language, whichever is possible. Now, I asked about why wherever. Now, there is a story behind this, wherever possible. In Karnataka, in a private school, the English medium school, the two students were conversing in Kannada. And a teacher heard this, and he actually punished these boys. Now, guardian became furious on listening this. In the school, it may be, in the class, it may be English medium, but why they cannot converse in Kannada? So it went to High Court, then High Court to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court, one judgment came finally, that choosing the medium of instruction is absolutely the hands of the students and guardians. Neither state, nor center, nor school can interfere in his choice. So that is almost a fundamental right of the choices. So if this be the question, I think I could clarify your point.
Sir, with your permission,
May I add
Yes.
one thing regarding
Yes.
implementation of this NEP 2020?
Please.
As sir told, it will be implemented phase-wise. Now today itself, few hours back, Honorable Chief Minister declared that 9, 10, 11, 12, the senior secondary section will start from to the 1st April 2022. So 2022, 1st April, means higher secondary, and 9, 10 and 11, 12 will be merged together in senior secondary schools, and it will start from 1st April 22. So that will be the starting point then, and this as sir mentioned, this in primary education also, in elementary education also it will start. So that
actually,
is the
sir,
update right now.
as Vibhas sir has mentioned that we should not wait for when the government will come and implement it. We can start now itself, sir. So I just want to share with everybody present here that in our college, sir, we have already established various students club, which has been mentioned in the NEP. But before NEP, we have started, sir. and students are enjoying the activities in the in that club, so I think if we wish, we can start various points, various issues already as a teacher, as you have told, sir. So can I take
Dhruva, congratulations, because I used to convey this message to all other colleges. Wherever I go, I mentioned BN College about establishing this 12 clubs or 13 clubs you have established. I have a suggestion for establishing another club. Probably you have this readers club.
Yes, sir.
That means book reading. That is very essential nowadays. Original book you read, write your perception about the book. So you can go for this one to encourage reading. Nowadays, everybody go for mobile phone, no? Forwarding the message and all this thing. This has become a taboo, and this is also killing our youth. Day before yesterday, I had been to a webinar in Chittor Prant, Rajasthan. And therein one vice chancellor came, who was telling from actual survey that 80% of our youth waste their waking times in mobile phone, and that is how talents are being wasted. So this has to be stopped by any means. So divert them with diverse activities like this. Thank you very
Sir,
much.
can we take 2 or 3 queries more?
Yes, yes.
Just a minute. Sir, actually, for information to all of the participants and our resource person also, that we, from last 5 years, I think, we are awarding the Best Reader Award to first 3 students of our college. Best Reader Award we are giving on the basis of their visit to the library. And regarding writing, there is a writing club, creative writing club is there in our college. And actually we are doing, we started some add-on courses and enrichment courses also. And in those enrichment courses, the subjects were like mushroom cultivation, and then beekeeping and all these. So which are all incorporated, these type of skill development type of things. So which are incorporated in the NEP 2020. So in that sense, we are means implementing NEP 2020 partially, of course. So, thank you.
Sir, one
Wonderful,
question
wonderful.
is there, sir. It is an interesting question. In our educational institutions, we gain material knowledge, but I want to know, is the new education policy, I think it should be national education policy, doing anything to help students in the field of enhancing spiritual knowledge?
Yes, it is already, I told you that lifestyle teaching and all these things are there. It is being, this is a pertinent question, which also, if you say spiritual knowledge means reading, those Bible, Quran, Gita, and all these things, directly it is not incorporated. But some of the university already started incorporating some such information. For your information, now you have BA degree in Benares University about Hindu Dharma. Complete course, BA course on Hindu Dharma. And then they are going to open some such. So these things will definitely come up in higher education level. It is going to come up. Why there should not be scope for studying Bible, scope for studying Quran, or scope for studying the Indian scriptures for spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, the certain life skills, certain value-oriented education, certain ethics, these are also for the spiritual gain, will be taught in the school level. That is incorporated already in the school level. Life skill, value-based portion, and ethics. This will be taught in school level as well.
So, sir, there is no more questions. So, I think we are almost at the end of this program. Now, may I now request
yes,
Mrs.
yes,
Nabanita
right.
Devi, Associate Professor in Philosophy and Coordinator Vivekananda Study Center of our college, to offer the vote of thanks. So, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Susmita. So, good evening to everybody. Respected participants of today's webinar. I am Nabanita Devi from the Department of Philosophy, and also as a coordinator of the Vivekananda Study Center of the college, Dhubri, BN College Dhubri. At the very outset, I would like to offer my heartfelt thanks to Honorable Dr. Vibhas Das Purakayastha Sir, resource person of today's webinar, for accepting our invitation, and in spite of his busy schedule, and also for his resourceful deliberation. Thank you, sir. I would also like to offer my sincere thanks to our Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Dhruva Chakraborty, for his constant guide and support in organizing such seminars. As you all know, this is our second attempt from the joint effort of IQAC and Vivekananda Study Center. I would also offer my thanks to our Vice Principal Sir, Mr. Abdul Motleb Mondal. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to all the Karyakartas of Vivekananda Kendra Kanyakumari, Assam Prant, for their active cooperation. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to all the members of IQAC BN College Dhubri for organizing this webinar. It would be improper on my part if I have not mentioned the name of Dr. Susmita Sengupta, coordinator of IQAC, who is working hard, very hard, I can say, from the very inception of the study center. My thanks goes to all the participants from the different parts of the country, from various organizations and institutions. Thank you all, sir and ma'am. I also offer my heartfelt thanks to all my respected colleagues and students for their support and cooperation. I would like to offer my thanks to the technical staff of JITTech for their technical support. Last but not the least, I would like to offer my thanks to all those who helped directly or indirectly to make this webinar a grand success. So thank you all again. Namaskar. Good night.
So, thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. The program is end now.
Sir, namaskar, sir.